All right, guys, welcome back to episode 30 of Asylum Arms. Today is our 1 year anniversary. But before we get into that, this episode is sponsored by Audible. With Audible, you can download titles and listen offline anytime, anywhere. The app is completely free. It can be installed on all smartphone, tablets, and devices. You can listen across devices without losing your spot. And if you decide to and you want to listen to specific books, they have a wide variety of ebooks, comics, and other selections. And you can you get 2 free credits every subscription. And you can get those free credits up to 1 year, where you can binge watch a whole series if you like with the credits. We eventually will have a link somewhere in the chat. And also the links, also if you're listening offline, the link is in the description of the podcast, and you can get a 30-day free trial with us. Sports podcast, and you get a 30-day free trial, so it's a win-win. How was your guys' day?
Lazy as fuck. I don't know. I was sleeping most of the day.
All right, and now I'm not hosting this episode. That's all you two.
Oh, we're aware, believe me.
We've had quite the conversations how we're going to take this.
That's scary. That's a scary thing for you to say.
So,
Hey,
Rex.
you gotta do it.
So, Rex.
Well, what's up, man?
Let's go back and actually visit what led you to create this podcast.
Damn, you want me to tell me what created? Fine, hold on. Let me get chat up. All right, so for creating Asylum Arms, I've always had a lot of vets friends, and I feel like I can always relate to vets. And I also heard a lot of their stories, and they have a lot of interesting stories and a lot of bad ones. But then I also really did learn on how different vets are looked at from like other civilians. Like they are under a lot of negative narrations and stuff, and I wanted to try to change those even a little bit. So I talked to Hawkeye and Pool if they were open to help me with this, and they both openly agreed. And I guess from there, that's history, and this is Asylum Arms now.
Fair. So now, let me ask you this: do you feel at all intimidated or anything like that, being, talking with veterans and interviewing them and this, that, and the other, and not being a veteran yourself? Do you get intimidated by it? Do you kind of feel lost or anything like that? Because I know there's some acronyms and shit like that we'll pull out there that, I know even some other military members are like, I don't even know what that means.
Not really. If I don't understand something, I usually ask as well. But not only that, I've been around vets enough to where I can get a rough idea what they're trying to describe.
Right.
A rough idea. If it's just some random chain of command thing, I just completely ignore it because it's like, I'm not even going to try to understand that.
That's fair. So now, you've been doing this for a year.
Yes, this is the 1 year.
What are some of your fondest memories of this past year doing Asylum Arms and talking with active duty and veterans?
Honestly, it's hearing all the different vet stories, because each guest is a unique individual and no episode is the same episode. Each person brought something different to the table of Asylum Arms. We've had some really dark stories, but we also had some really happy, fun stories. It's a good mix of everything, and it really does show on how each vet is their own person. And that's what I really do like about this podcast, is that you are able to see the different personalities of vets and stuff, and they're not all these stereotypes that people have put on a lot of vets and stuff. That is one thing I really do like about this podcast.
So, how would you feel your understanding of vets has improved over the year of doing this podcast? They could be either active duty or veteran.
Understanding? I mean, I learned a lot more of the acronyms. We learned a lot more what acronyms and military talk is. Just, what do you mean by that?
Do you feel you understand them more because of why you started the podcast?
In a lot of ways, yeah, I do. Because even with me on this podcast, I learned things that I didn't know about vets on this podcast. Like, I admit, every episode I learn something new on this podcast. And I love the thing about that. No, at first, as you mentioned before, intimidation. At first, it was kind of intimidating just because I am a civilian and I'm trying to talk to these different people where I don't know what all goes on in the military, so I don't know their story. I'm trying to find out the story. But yeah, it is slightly intimidating. But it wasn't as much since I brought in co-hosts that are veterans. So that's why I wanted a veteran co-host, for it wasn't that intimidating, but then also it's somewhere there where the guests can bounce off stories off of and stuff to really make the guests feel more comfortable and for the podcast to go more smoothly. Because trust me, if I didn't have a veteran co-host, this podcast probably went to shit pretty fast.
Sorry, I was answering or looking at a chat. My bad.
You are right.
All right. So I have a question from, I guess you could say chat, but also from some of our viewers and listeners. It's actually been a question that's been brought up numerous times, and I think this would be a good episode to kind of bring it into the fold, and it is 100% directed at you.
Okay.
Rex.
Yep.
What is your fascination with constantly reminding everybody how young you are?
It's not a fascination.
It does come off that way, though.
I don't know. I tried to stop doing it.
That's fair.
Fair.
It's kind of thing in my family where people throw age around like it's nothing.
We'll ask him the important questions. Look, if I'm going to ask the important questions, then, I mean, this is probably going to have to be put on Pornhub and not fucking, some other place. And then, of course, we've talked about it multiple times. It's constantly being brought up. What the hell is up with these MRE questions?
That's just our staple question, man. That's just our staple. That's our staple.
I mean, you've asked it so many different times. It's become the staple, but it's also.
We should just change the name of the podcast to Favorite MRE.
No, we shouldn't. That's not how this works.
We'll get rid of the hand grenade. We'll just put a fucking MRE as a fucking symbol of the show.
No, that's not. No. I like our logo. And also, yeah, no. We already have merch designs in the process of that logo. So no.
Sorry, but you got to fucking fix it all. We need an MRE. The grenade is gone. Rex is typing that to me right now that it's okay. You just don't know about it yet.
No, that's not happening.
So what are some of your plans for the new year with the podcast? What are you looking to do with it? Are we going to see any big changes, or basically that's it?
Well, for a few months now, I've been working on a merch store for Asylum Arms that should be launching within the upcoming month or two, which we have a clusterfuck of a variety of things. We have beer mugs, shot glasses, wireless chargers, hoodies, shirts, sweatshirts, those usual ones. Yeah. We also have a bunch of mouse pads. There's stickers coming out. There's a big variety of merch that's coming out for Asylum Arms.
Very cool.
Very cool.
And then,
any guests coming up that you're actually excited about?
Right now our schedule's empty.
that works. Fuck it, that works.
Right now our schedule's actually kind of empty with everything that's been going on.
Right.
So no, I actually have not. We don't have anyone lined up after this episode. I really should, but not right now. We don't.
All right, so let's flip it. Over the past year, you've mentioned a few times in passing that you've had multiple favorite guests.
I do
Can
have
you
some.
pick?
I think the list has gotten so long. I don't know if you'll get that one.
Top 5.
Top 5? All right.
That's a good one.
Well, let's say since you're here, pull us one of the top 5. Pull this episode. Then there's Vic. So pull Vic, Whiskey. Some I don't know first episode as well, but also I liked her second episode too. But yeah. Strawberry. And then for number 5 would probably be RJ.
I like it.
Like it.
We got to
Solid
get him
list.
back on, but we had issues, and
Yeah.
which reminds me, how you feeling?
I'm feeling better. I don't feel like I want to die. I'm no longer on prednisone either, so that's good.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, so now I'm feeling back. But no, we were originally supposed to have an episode every day this week, but COVID happened.
And logistical issues.
Yeah, a lot of shit happened. Mixer broke, getting a new one fixed and stuff. But as for other things that are happening this year, as I've said in previous episodes, we are going to start opening doors to first responders as well this year. So we will start having first responders on the podcast and like other subdivisions, like bail bonds and stuff, like all the different categories of areas in that area.
Yeah. Well, then I might have. I'll have to get a hold of him, but I might have somebody for that. Good friend of mine. He's a corrections officer.
All right. So yeah,
I got a couple people I could reach out to as well. This person works a lot, so it might be a couple months before I actually hear back from him.
mm-hmm. And then
But he usually messages to.
All I gotta say
Check
is
in on me.
if I manage to get Jason on here, nobody mentioned Forrest Gump ever.
Okay, and then also
Noted.
we have. I'm not exactly sure when this is gonna be put in effect yet, but at some point soon this year, we will be doing 2 episodes a week. One on the Saturday like we normally do, and then we're gonna have one on Sunday, which Kay will be co-hosting
Okay,
since he's off Sundays.
I like it.
Until his schedule changes again.
And then his schedule changes again, and just watch his 2 days. He doesn't have a day off Saturday or Sunday.
Right. All right. So we got a question from chat from Roshi. She wants to know if you could have anyone on the podcast, who would it be in the next year?
That's a tough one.
I mean, there's a lot of great people out there, but I mean, who's that fucking whale, that big fish that you would love to land?
Fuck. It's too many good options. This is the issue.
Yeah.
Honestly, a World War II veteran, as I've always said. Not a Pacific person, a World War II veteran.
I think that'd be a hell of a conversation.
That is one thing I want to happen. And granted, I need to do that eventually. It's just hard to. I don't know how.
That, and they're few and far between these days.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I need to do it within the next 2 years because
Yeah,
the last one might kick the bucket.
Won't be there.
Yeah.
The options won't be there anymore.
So, in that whole thing's hard to do because I don't know any World War II vets personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear they're not exactly easy to find.
They're not, but the good thing is, especially with social media and stuff like that, you could actually use like Asylum Arms webpage or Twitter page to put feelers out there. If you want to, looking for possible interviews and this that, and the other with let's say fucking World War II, Korea, Vietnam vets. Obviously they'd be vetted before you would allow them on the show or whatever. But it's a good way to just kind of get your feelers out there because I mean, I guarantee you a lot of these old timers they're not watching Twitch. They're not doing stuff like that. But
not watching Twitch or Discord and
yeah. Exactly.
But they do fuck around on Twitter and stuff because I know a couple of them and I mean they're some of the raunchiest, funniest guys I've ever met.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I also want this to be known for anyone that's watching this and stuff. With Asylum Arms, we do vet all of our vets. Either we do it ourselves, which we haven't yet, because most of our guests are from either regiment or either part of these big veteran esport groups, so they're already vetted, or they're recipients of Shut by Tech. But if we do run into guests where they're none of those, and I don't know them personally, we will be vetting them.
Of course.
It's just we haven't had that issue yet.
Honestly, I think we should start imploring the way that Regiment does their vetting process.
That was my idea.
I mean, if we're not taken from a pool of known veterans already, through Regiment or Valhalla or Stack Up or anything like that, if it's someone that we know absolutely nothing about,
we will be
there. Yeah, then 100% we could do like what Regiment does to verify. I'm not the type of person that's going to say, "Hey, send me your DD-214."
No, I'm not going to do that.
That's intrusive, and I'm just not going to do it. But there's other ways to be able to vet somebody.
Yeah, and this is when Dead Sea posting my head of that. Yeah, Paul, you're the head of vetting people.
Oh, am I okay?
Oh! So we're signing jobs here.
Yeah.
I thought we were interviewing you.
Hey, man.
Apparently, I got a demotion. What the fuck?
You're still a co-host.
Co-host, and you got to look at everyone's fucking pictures. Fuck my life.
Fuck.
I mean, Hawk edits all this shit.
Yeah, but
edit, produce, freaking.
True. There's a lot that goes into this.
There's a lot of shit that goes into this podcast, it is. And I honestly could have done a lot of this without you guys. Because I've asked a lot of you guys, I'll ask you guys for questions and support and backup and stuff on a lot of things. A lot of this stuff I could have done without my co-host. So I really do appreciate you guys coming on board with this Asylum Arms.
So
appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Let's kind of rephrase the question from Roshi here. You can give multiple people, like if you have an idea on a person that you would like to see come on here, kind of make it like the top 3.
True. Pistelli is definitely one, which it's a back and forth. I've got a hold of this team, but it's very back and forth.
Yeah.
He's one. And then
he'd be our first international.
Yeah, another one. We want to get international vets and stuff. Because as I said, I don't want just the U.S. spectrum. I want the broad range. Obviously, you need to speak English, though.
That would be helpful. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a translator.
I'm not either.
I used to be able to speak Russian. I don't know how to do it anymore. I forgot completely.
But yeah, he's definitely one. Yeah, there was other ones in my head, but I'm forgetting their names for some reason now. Demolition Ranch would be a cool one to have on.
Okay.
YouTuber.
I know who he is. I just didn't know he was a vet.
Yeah, he is.
Fuck it. Let's just get the angry sergeant on here.
That would be also a cool one. That would be a cool one. That would be.
Freaking reach out to.
And then for first responders, the guy that runs Firefighter Chronicles, that would be also a cool one to have.
Oh,
That would be a really cool one to have on.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing: if we end up landing him, you have to give him 20 minutes to plug his coffee.
I know. No. You do. That is true. Well, so those are a few of them that I would like to have on the podcast eventually. It's just a lot of hoops to jump through to even get those to happen.
So,
I mean,
aside
it's
from
a work in progress.
Yeah.
Aside from World War II, what are some other time periods that you would like to hear about or learn about?
All of them.
Wow,
fair.
wow, fair, but that is an extreme vague answer.
Hey, I said I want to hit all
war
areas.
stories. We're not getting anyone from the Civil War on the show. I'm telling you that now.
It's a little impossible.
Yeah, I mean, I was there, but
Also, World War One are dead. Yeah.
yes,
we
they
can't
are.
get
They
World
have
War One.
passed.
Yeah. We already had a few Desert Storm. We've had a Desert Storm because Cynic was Desert Storm. I don't think we have not had Vietnam. I don't think.
No, we've had no Vietnam, and most of it has been all
Oh,
Afghanistan, Iraq.
Yeah, we've had Desert.
OEF, OIF, and
Honestly,
Desert
I
Storm.
think. Honestly, I think Cynics are oldest guest.
Yeah,
Yeah, Desert Storm would be our oldest one.
old Storm and Norman.
Which Vietnam, we might be able to knock out whenever if we can get your father on the podcast eventually.
That I can try.
I know
thing
that's
is,
a big work in progress.
This man is not technically savvy.
I know.
Like back in the days of the VCR, it used to blink 12 o'clock when he didn't set the clock.
That's the
And
issue.
he couldn't figure out how to do it, so he went and got electrical tape and just put it over it, and that was the way he fixed the fucking clock from never being set.
That's the issue with these older time periods, is that it's hard to get them on just because podcasting is a techie thing. It
kind of is, but I mean, a lot of these guys, if they don't have the equipment, a simple, it may have to be offline, a recorded phone call or something like that. Because a lot of people aren't going to have fucking equipment,
No.
like we're running right now to do something like this.
Like, eventually, if we get it to the point where Asylum Arms is foundation and is a full-time thing, I can easily just do it that way, set up things somewhere. But right now, we're very limited with what we have. But
So what kind of things would you like to be able to upgrade in the near future to bring Asylum Arms to that next level?
when I move out, I do plan on starting a studio. Like, when I move out and stuff, I do want to upgrade my setup and get like an actual
I mean, a TV tray would be an upgrade to your fucking setup right now.
shut up. But you know what I mean.
But is he wrong?
100% agree.
I want to get all the like a bunch of high end mixers and stuff and really boost up the audio quality and stuff.
So what's some things that you would actually want to do to upgrade to actually possibly take the podcast on a little bit more mobile circumstance? Like, let's say we have one of these older vets that aren't tech savvy, but you could go on location with them.
Well, as I said, like a nursing homes and stuff. If the nursing home lets you and would let me do it, that'll be easy enough to do because I have a pretty portable laptop, because I use a laptop for the podcast already. So that doesn't really change anything in that aspect. I would just need
you could go as far as, a couple of XLR minis, a couple of mics, and run it that way. Fucking one hand.
Fucking medic.
Medic, love you, buddy.
I don't worry, medic. We were actually talking about changing all of the podcast name and
it's
everything
not
earlier.
happening. Be quiet.
Changing that.
I already have this shit turning into an LSC and shit. We don't need to change the stuff. I already paid for copyright rights to be approved and shit.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna have to figure out another way to get this thing to work.
Jesus Christ.
Special line of merch, maybe.
Yeah.
That is an idea.
We'll have to get a hold of the company that makes MREs and just have Asylum Arm MREs come out.
Limited time Asylum Arm MRE edition.
Yeah, that actually tastes good.
Yeah. Coming
Hopefully
to
it won't
all
have a
your
fucking 50-year shelf life, but
coming to all your local military bases.
Maybe reach out to what's that chef's name?
oh, that narrows it down.
There's a few of them. There's a couple of them that I follow aside from Gordon Ramsay, because we all know
Gordon Ramsay.
he ain't taking our call.
No.
Oh, he would definitely take it and then cuss us the fuck out and hang up. But he would take the call.
Yep.
But no, I follow a couple like barbecue chefs and stuff like that
Right.
through social media, and they take the challenge.
Oh yeah, 100% they would. Get a hold of Guy Fieri. I bet that motherfucker would do it.
Oh, Gary the barbecue chef. That's who I follow.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He'd take the challenge in a heartbeat.
Well,
Also, another thing I would love to do with Asylum Arms is get apply eventually, once we get more bigger, eventually apply for a panel at TwitchCon and do like a live episode in our own panel. So I think that would be cool.
that'd be kind of fun.
That'd be kind of fun, but you're gonna have to pay me travel.
Oh, I know. That's later. That's a later thing, man.
And that may be a way to be able to get Lee on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Is a live event like that. Because I know he I think it was TwitchCon that he was at this last year was pretty big, especially with the Tarkov community that
The
happened.
thing is, does he go to the US one now, or does he go
came
to
to the US one?
Okay,
Nope, he was at the US.
Because I know they started doing the Amsterdam one too.
Yeah, but he was down here in California. Okay. Well, not here. I'm obviously not in California, but he was in California for TwitchCon this year. So it was a massive showing as far as
because I now do have the contact info for the team that does the panel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to. I'm not going to apply this year just because I don't think we're exactly big enough to even get accepted, and also I don't have enough for 4 plane tickets.
Well, and then there's that.
Because I'm shipping out you, Pool, and K. I don't have enough for 4 plane tickets.
I don't think TwitchCon would be ready for the 4 of us to fucking show up there.
No, I don't have the money for 4 plane tickets.
Right.
So here's a question that, Pool, I know I did not run this by you.
Oh, well then fucking strike the question. It's out of no, can't do it. I didn't vet the question. Apparently, that's my job.
Take us through typical day leading up to the podcast. What goes through your mind? What you do, and
oh God, I could answer this for him.
Well, a lot of networking. I spend a lot of my time on Twitter talking to different vets and stuff on Twitter and DMs to try to line up more episodes. That's a big one in this whole thing, is networking with new vets I haven't met before, and networking to other communities, and then asking other vets on which vets they think would be a good fit into the podcast, that have been on the podcast. It's a lot of networking with other different vets. And then also I talk with like on a monthly basis, I talk with our 2 sponsorship teams with BetterHelp and Audible, which BetterHelp one will be starting also this year because we've been slacking on that one. At least I have.
All right, we definitely need to get that going.
So we'll be starting that one, this year. But no, I talk to those guys on a monthly basis and stuff with that. Mainly a lot of networking and stuff, and for all the getting ready for episodes, I stalk their Twitters and find out information about them. I stalk their social medias like a week prior to the episode,
Right.
just to get more about them if I don't know much about them. Because you got to remember, a lot of these guests who are on this podcast, it's my first time ever talking to a lot of these people.
Mm.
As I'm saying, I'm assuming it's the same for a lot of you guys too.
For the most part, yeah, I'll be in their stream weeks leading up to it.
Yeah, Sam.
And kind of get to know them that way, or I will silently pop into some of the regiment meetings that they have where, I see that person's in there.
Yeah.
And I'll just sit in the background and listen and things like that. And no, you're right. I mean, I like right now, even though I don't have to have it, it's become an absolute habit. I've got the stream up on this monitor right here, but it's split screened with your Twitter account. So, I mean, it's just, yeah, I do the same thing. I'll have, like, when we're doing a live episode, I will have, whether it be their fucking Twitter up or their Twitch page up, scrolling through and making sure that, we're good to go on it.
Yeah, I stalk our guests.
Catching certain things that could turn into questions.
But then
absolutely.
I mean, you saw that last night, Rex.
Mm-hmm. But then also when I stalk our guest, I stalk them before I even ask them to come on the podcast to make sure they're not this fucking asshole piece of shit person. Like,
right.
Or not a good fit for the podcast in general. Like, I do pay attention to who I invite on and who I don't invite on. And if someone is mentioning someone to be put on the podcast, for example, there's a few people that want some of their IRL friends on the podcast and stuff, and I'm like, first I want to be in a call with said person to get to know them before I have them on my platform.
Right.
Also,
you got to do what you have to do to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this is your baby, and you want to protect it. I mean, that's completely and totally understandable.
Because I don't need the N-word going off like 20 million times because we got this.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that also leads into a question. So
does that now?
Apparently, this was pre-scripted. What the fuck?
Does that lead into a question now?
Hawk has got this little thing up on his monitor right now. In case he says this.
In case he says the N-word, here's the description here.
Right.
So, obviously, we're doing this on your personal Twitch channel.
Yes, we are.
Right? So, we've been around veterans enough to know that sometimes certain topics come up in conversation, i.e. politics, the big ones.
It's
right.
It's a disclaimer for a reason.
So
it has come up.
Yeah.
How do you differentiate between your channel rules versus podcast rules?
This is true. Because I do have no politics talk. But that's mainly for chat. I mean, yeah, that's mainly for chat because I don't need things being caused in chat. But to be honest, I haven't updated my channel rules in a while. I probably should. I just haven't done it in a while. But the whole politic talk and religion talk, I feel like it's a different thing on the podcast just because a lot of it is telling either in a story or describing the event that happened. Granted, there's sometimes in these episodes, for example, our bullshit episodes, there was one time we went full blown into politics and there was no story behind it. It just
happened.
It just blew out of proportions.
Oh yeah.
We stirred away from it, but things happen.
Well, let me ask you this: have you thought about actually starting a second Twitch channel just for Asylum Arms? That way, if there is something that kind of goes a little too far in one direction, it's not going to come back on your personal channel.
You know, I have a lot of people told me to as well, and a lot of people say I shouldn't, because the thing about it is, a lot of people, they already watch this Asylum Arms on my Twitch. Like
Right.
over half of my followers are for Asylum Arms.
Mhm.
So it's kind of a hard thing to transition into, especially since a lot of my guests don't pay attention to my Twitter. So I could make a Twitter announcement about it, but a lot of my viewers aren't on my Twitter.
Right.
So it's just kind of a thing that it's kind of already cemented into my channel. And it's
That's
all
fair.
right. And a lot of the other podcasts is that if you notice, if someone owns a podcast, it's typically on their channel. But if it's co-owned by several people, they have their own channel.
Mhm.
And I guess originally we didn't start it that way because originally it was just the podcast, and then Hawkeye became a co-host, and then later on I asked you to become a co-host, and then we got Kay in the mix. Granted, Kay kind of forced his way in, but that's besides the point. I still love the guy.
That's Kay.
That's Cade, forceful bastard.
I still love the guy. I love him. He's still a co-host. He was a sub co-host, but now he's a permanent co-host. Was for a while there.
So now, what about an idea like? I mean, it's real simple. What about like an Asylum Arms YouTube channel where these episodes get posted to that, and
we have a Asylum Arms YouTube channel.
then can we start hammering?
There's
the
a few
shit out of
episodes on there.
Okay.
The problem is we can't get all of them on there because we don't have all of them.
Right.
Because what I wanted to do was to upload the old Twitch VODs to the YouTube. See, we can actually get them all on there. It's just some will be audio. Because I can rip out the audio out of the episodes on my RSS feed and just re-download it. I can do that. So we can
Re-download it, send it to me, and I can put a graphic behind it.
So we can.
So that way there's something to look at.
So we can.
Why don't we do
other
the smart
episodes.
thing and ask all our past guests, since they're all military, to draw a picture, and we'll put the picture up behind it. Granted, 99% of them are going to be dicks, because that's all we ever drew in the fucking military. Were dicks on everything. But
But no, that is an idea. It's just a lot of the older episodes we don't have VODs up because Twitch deletes VODs, and I should start recording these episodes. I really should start recording these episodes just because I do have copies. I need a bigger hard drive for that. So once I get my second SSD, I will be doing that. It's just right now I can't. I don't have the memory to hold that much shit.
that's fair.
Or you can do what I did. Go buy a 4 terabyte freaking external hard drive for $100.
I do have that. I don't know where the fuck I put it though.
Wait, how much was that fucking? Did you say, Hawk?
About $100.
Yeah, you
For
can.
4 tears?
Yeah,
For hard drives, yeah. I have a 3 terabyte.
I can send you a link.
See, my external is actually an SSD external for like $400.
Oh, I have one of the old school, because we used to take them on deployment. I have the old school 8 terabyte tower external. That, I mean, it's completely full of nothing but movies and music.
Devil, I know I can do that. There's a lot of editing that goes into the podcast though, and I don't have all the VODs. That's the whole thing we're talking about. We don't have the VODs.
Well, it's a new year. I think we can definitely make it work and go from there.
Yeah, cool. That's the one I got.
Okay, let me grab my phone, because I don't feel like switching PCs to look at it. Kari in here talking shit.
Yeah, but so I do have an external SSD drive. The problem is about that one is I don't know where it is. So there's that. I just know I didn't buy it. My dad made it. My dad just bought an SSD, bought an empty hard drive, and connected them together.
So, you have any other goals for this year on Asylum Arms? Aside from launching the first responder, law enforcement, other branches of public service.
Yeah, we hit 1,000 average viewers on the offline. We're currently at about 500.
I think we can make that happen. And 500 is pretty good for a 1 year,
Yeah,
1 year stint.
hit 1,000.
scratch fucking podcast.
Yeah, hit 1,000 average viewers on the offline. That's an idea.
That'd be awesome.
Now here's a question: Would you ever consider taking just a simple episode? We don't really have to have a guest, and just doing fewer questions.
I've thought about that because we kind of already have those. The shit show episodes are kind of like that, kind of not. They're just
No, not really, because 9 times out of 10 when we do a shit show episode, none of us.
It goes off the rails fast. It goes off the rails.
Oh
fast.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We don't even fucking read chat at that point.
But I have decided we are gonna do a shit show episode every veteran holiday.
Oh, fun!
Oh god, I don't have enough fucking whiskey to do that.
So,
I'm wondering if there's a whiskey company that could sponsor us, Pool.
they can when I'm 21, most likely, because that.
Yeah,
I'm not talking.
That would probably be a thing.
I'm talking about just Pool and I at this point.
Because about to say, with Asylum Arms, I think in order to do that, I need to be of age.
I think I might have to make a phone call to Matt Best and see what happens. You're like, hey, some of that lead slinger. Now, granted, for me, it kind of sucks because if I want lead slinger whiskey, I have to leave my state and go purchase it because it is illegal in the state of Mississippi to have it sold here.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, next time I go.
Oh, go ahead.
Next time I go get some, I'll buy you a bottle and freaking drive it to you.
It would literally have to be driven to me. It cannot be shipped to the state of Mississippi. It cannot be sold in a liquor store. Because of the alcohol content, they have a very strict rule. And Lead Slinger's whiskey is actually, according to Mississippi, too potent. So they don't sell it. It's can't. Oh, I know. Believe me, I've had it, and that's a small bottle, bitch. Anyway,
I wish I could get bigger ones, but this is the only one that they sell in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I still think it's crazy that I went into Walmart the other day and realized that there was Black Rifle coffee in the aisle. That threw me for a loop. I was like,
Yeah.
I went in to go get my normal coffee. I'm like, what the fuck when did that get here?
the funny thing is,
there's a whole wall of it in mine.
The funny thing is, when I worked at Casey's, when I was management at Casey's, my store was the first to have Black Rifle coffee because I was the assistant store manager, and I said we should start selling this. My manager's like, sure,
Like,
why not?
Like Casey's. Wait. Casey's the
gas station.
Okay, I will admit 2 things about Casey's. One, they've got excellent pizza.
They do.
And their breaded pork loin sandwich is fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's for when I was assistant manager. I was at Casey's, and I was like, we need to have this Black Rifle coffee, and she's like, okay, and we started selling it without corporate's permission.
Oh fuck!
And then corporate did an interview, and they're like, what the fuck is this? And then they did
Oh, I'm sure.
And then they were looking at the sales, and they're like, never mind, you can keep it. The sales are doing well, and we're going to authorize this into other stores. So apparently, I was one of the reasons why Black Rifle was even sold in Casey's.
Hey, you know what? Fuck it, take it.
Whatever's clever, I mean.
Because it was doing a lot of sales. Like, we were restocking that bitch every day. It was always empty.
I'll tell you what you don't do, and I'm gonna say this for our active duty personnel, even though if I probably say it, they're gonna do it. Crown Royal makes coffee. Their beans are soaked in barrels that used to have whiskey in it, so it has that smell and that taste of whiskey.
Oh.
Don't make that in your warrant officer's office when the CO is coming. Because the second our commanding officer walked in to our office and all you could smell was whiskey. Oh, that was a fun time fucking explaining that one out. I mean, like, my CO was cool with it. My command master chief, who would make that sergeant major in When We Were Soldiers look like a pussy. He flipped the fuck out.
Oh,
like, he didn't even make it through the hallway into the office and he could already smell it, and was grabbing junior troops by the back of their fucking neck and I was screaming at these kids. They're not even allowed in that office, but they were at fault for this. And then he came in and he command master chief proceeded to try to chew out a CW04.
Fuck.
And even my warrant officer sat back and he went, "Roger that, master chief." You don't fuck with master chiefs when they're in that mode, you know. But then, of course, what did my warrant officer do? He looked right at me and looked right at master chief and went, "Well, EO1 made it." I'm just like,
it's like, sir, kindly go fuck yourself.
Oh no! See, that was the good thing about me and my warrant officer. I never had to call him sir. I could call him by his first name. I could call him by his last name. It didn't matter. We were that good of a friend. But God, he was a dick sometimes.
And I'm pretty sure I shared that story.
Of that coffee is fucking phenomenal.
I think I shared that story with you. Cool.
Which one?
The day my E7 proceeded to chew out an E2 for not giving me the respect.
That's been on the podcast.
It's still one of my favorite memories to look back on.
Oh God, I wonder if I can get Warren Thacker on the show.
Oh,
that might be a probably not safe for Twitch episode. Josh will be saying some really fucked up shit.
I wonder if I can get a couple of my NCOs to agree.
I don't know if I would want to bring any of my. Well, I've got one. He's 100% willing to come on the show. We just have to figure out schedules with him. But I don't know if I would ever want to bring some of my fellow NCOs and chiefs onto this show because, well, they might let loose a bunch of shit that I've done, and you don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
Be like, so guess what this motherfucker? I'd be like, all right, I'm out of here.
Bye.
And matter of fact, I'm contacting a lawyer because I'm pretty sure I'll be arrested by the end of the show.
That's fair.
Pull up more panels there, Hawk. That's the great thing about glasses.
Oh, I was just readjusting some monitors here.
Readjusting some monitors.
I'm starting to hate having 4 monitors. I really am.
So, since this is being quiet, I have a question for you too.
Wait, aren't we the host?
Oh, wait.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
no, we haven't gotten to that segment of the fucking questioning yet.
You know? Shut up. You're the ones that are being slow.
Oh, wait.
We're older.
You're telling us we're being slow on questions. Do we want to look back at the last 29 episodes?
29
or 39 or 37 episodes.
Well, he said episode 30 tonight.
It's 38.
You did put the 8 there.
Oh, well.
Yeah, you didn't put the 8 there. Okay, so
Kari.
We're gonna
What-
do
what-
Pool's question here. The
Fair
collab
enough, do it.
question.
Yeah, it's no longer my question. It's been fucking completely Hawkeye hijacked.
See, I've answered this question like 5 times on the podcast.
You don't know which question.
Who would you like to collab with and why?
I see. I can never answer this one. I've been asked this question so many times, but I can't really ever. I've always said HTO Dealers would be nice. Would be a cool one. Me and him have similar personalities.
That's fair.
Fair.
So now, who do you take inspiration from, or was there an inspiration? Not only obviously because you're friends with vets and this, that, and the other, but was there a certain person or a friend or this, that, and the other that inspired you to actually do the podcast? And were they kind of a driving force behind it, or was it just kind of I've got all these friends and I've met all these people and this, that, and the other?
Honestly, a lot of it was, just because I have a lot of friends, but also a big part of it was also my grandfather.
Okay.
He was a Vietnam vet, and he always was big on trying to change narratives and stuff. And if he was still alive today, he would he would be really surprised with what I'm doing with the podcast. Because
Now-
he also taught me a lot of veteran talk and stuff, and that's why I feel like I bonded with you guys so fast. Because I've known Hawkeye since I was 16. So I've known Hawkeye for a long time, and me and Hawkeye bonded pretty fast.
Now,
Shit.
do you listen to a lot of other podcasts just to kind of observe, or do you just kind of worry about your own podcast?
I watch a few horror ones just because I like horror, but not really to observe because
Wait. Slow down. You like what?
horror.
Okay. Had to get that pause in there.
Yeah. But there's not really many podcasts I can observe to show how I'm improving my podcast, because I've tried. There's not many podcasts like our podcast with interviewing veterans and stuff.
Mhm.
They're far in between. So for me, it really kind of was. I couldn't really base it off everything. So I've been winging this entire time because I don't know what the fuck to base it off. But there's nothing really to base it off of. So just kind of breaking my own ice, winging it. And
So a lot of times, and this is something that went over in school, inspiration can come from anywhere, or ways to improve can come from anywhere. That's a little tidbit that I've been wanting to share lately.
mhm.
So, you could take and listen to an interviewing style podcast.
I have rewatched all of our I've rewatched majority of our episodes as well. Like I've rewatched the first episode like 5 different times. I've re-listened to all the episodes and stuff. Hence why in most episodes I can usually mention a thing that happened in other people's episodes, because I do re-listen to the other episodes just to see on how well the podcast has changed
Right.
and to see where we need to improve, where this and that needs to happen and stuff like that. And I honestly believe every episode that we do, I do approve on every episode, because if you rewatch the older episodes to these current episodes, my questioning and shit has gotten a lot better, and all of that. I honestly believe I really have grown a lot as a host since I first started the podcast.
I'd agree with that.
I didn't know what the fuck I was doing the first time doing this. I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I pretend I do. Taking things
No,
one step at a
I'd say you've definitely improved. You do, like you said, you do show prep. You find out background information on the guests and this, that, and the other, and
Because this
definitely
is how
done a good job.
This is how the first episode started with MVK. This is how the first one started. I asked MVK you like to be the first guest of the Asylum podcast?" He said yes. And then I asked Haka to be a co-host on. He said yes. And then no prepping, no nothing. We were an hour late. And well, technically we were a day and an hour late because, yeah.
Because reasons.
Yeah, reasons. So
we both showed up on time on the right day. And then we found out that he had went live.
Yeah, you don't need to throw him under the bus, man. God. And then so yeah, we did it a day later and stuff. And the first episode, there was no script, there was no questions, there was no prep. I knew I had the kid already, so I didn't really need to prep that much for it because I already knew who the fuck he was.
Yeah,
he's known me longer. He's known me longer than I've known Hawkeye. He introduced me to Hawkeye and you, so I've known him for a pretty long time in that aspect. So there was no prepping or anything like that, though. And it was really just complete winging it. And you can fucking tell by the tone in our voices that we did not know what the fuck we were doing or what was going on.
Right.
Then we do it for about 5-6 months. And then all of a sudden I announced to Rex, "Oh, hey, I'm going to school. So my schedule's going to get completely fucked."
And then that's when Paul came in the picture. Wait, Grind, you've been on the podcast.
That guy.
You've been on the podcast, your own episode, and then you also subbed for Hawkeye already, so you were already kind of in the picture. You just became a permanent co-host after that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so we have a question.
It's been a lot of fun.
A question from Kari.
What's up?
So what's different compared to today?
What? What is that supposed to be?
What's different in the podcast compared to today? What are you doing different?
Take a look at episode 1 and then bring yourself forward to today with everything that's gone on in between the 37 other episodes. What would you say is some of the biggest things that have changed in your eyes and what you've noticed?
I've noticed I do a lot more prep work for these episodes. One, I've also noticed my grammar has gotten better since I've seen a podcast.
A little bit better.
Yeah, that's about. I mean,
I'll say one thing.
I don't know.
Since you got that new chair, your posture's improved.
I love this chair, man.
Because you're actually sitting somewhat straight up.
I like this chair, man.
He says that as I'm leaning to one side in mine.
It's a nice chair.
Well, you and I both kind of have an excuse.
Yeah, I can't feel my left leg right now, so I've got to try to relieve the pressure on it. Oh, Kari says he used to drive me mental. Now he only drives me insane. I'll agree with that.
Let's look forward a little bit. You already spoke on this year. Let's say you hit 1,000. Let's say Asylum Armor hits the metric of 1,000 offline listens.
Then it's 5,000. Right? And then it's 10,000. And then we go up and up and up and up. That's how that goes.
All right. So what would be some goals for the LLC?
Listen, man. The LLC.
Who would you want? What kind of department or compartmentalization would you like to have on it?
Well, I'm the guy vetting. Apparently, we know that.
As I said before, eventually I would like this to turn into a full-time thing. It's just not reasonable right now because I don't make enough money off of the sponsorships and stuff to do that. Yeah. That's besides the point, though. But, what do you mean by that? Obviously, Kari would be the artist.
Okay.
100%.
Kari, I've already said, Kari. Hell, if you in the Asylum Arms fucking in the Asylum server, I literally have her listed as part of the Asylum Arms team as an artist. Like, Kari, you're a permanent artist here.
Can we have an offline talk about that?
So
I'm just waiting in chat for a big go fuck yourself pool.
Also, guys.
So what other
hold on.
kind of structure?
Oh, wait, what structure?
Hmm?
I mean,
Like, are you going to
structure based?
There it was. There it was. We were waiting for it.
So the question is, are you going to eventually, like, let's say we get big and we're doing this full time, are you going to bring on somebody to network while you network, or are you going to try to continue to handle the networking yourself?
I thought about social media manager. Thought about it. I don't know all the ins and outs about social media at all.
Does anybody ever?
No, not really. So I thought about social media manager eventually. Obviously accounting, because fucking A, that's gonna be a nightmare and a half.
Yep.
So obviously those two things are ideas, considerations, and stuff like that.
So I wanna tell you what Kari said in her own words. I obviously can't get my voice to sound like hers, but she designs your social media shit.
She does.
Might not be a bad idea.
True. This is true.
Again, we can talk about that a little bit more offline.
That's a later topic. Because I also want to.
So now, are you looking at the future of Asylum Arms by in a year by year basis, or are you putting together, like a lot of businesses, they go out there and they put together a 5-10 year plan and they try to follow that and hit those milestones to get where they're going. I think that what Hawkeye was saying when he said, let's look a little bit further into the future. Are you looking at it just from a year to year basis, or are you laying out possibly, potentially looking into laying out, like, let's say a 5-year plan?
I don't really have a
milestones.
5-year plan. I have a lot of ideas I want to do. For example, with Asylum Arms turning to LSC, I want to do more than the podcast. Eventually, I want to do like charity events and stuff, but that's just stuff all down the line and stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I want to do charity.
Damn it, Paul.
With Asylum Arms is one of the things I want to do.
Paul wants us to do an Asylum Arms spelling bee.
That's not happening.
All right, Rex, here's your first one. Spell MRE.
MRE.
Yeah, spell it.
Yeah, MRE. Shut up.
All right, so here's a fun one. MC.
Just tell me to spell MC. It's MC.
Wrong.
What do you mean I'm wrong?
It is EMCEE.
Shut the fuck up. I don't care. I don't
Fuck
care.
you and all this educated shit you learned in college.
I could care less. Fucking A.
All right, so to bring one of your questions that you like to ask, being that it's a whole new year and there's a lot of games coming out. What games this year are you looking forward to the most?
Outlast 3. One of them, it's supposed to come out last year. It said they only gave us the closed beta, and then it's supposed to come out this year. I will believe it when I see it, though. It's one of those things where I'll believe it when I see it.
That's fair.
It's been talked about for a while now, so yeah. Yes, we are, Kari. But this year, I mean, I know a lot of the titles are coming out. There's not a lot of interesting ones coming out this year.
I mean, that's fair.
As the year goes on, there might be more new ones coming out, but there's not.
So
many.
now okay. So we all like to play a lot of social games and things like that. What's a game? What's 2 games, social games that you would say that, you know, people would have a ton of fun playing right now?
Social games?
Like Among Us or, you know, something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess for social, First Class Trouble. That's a social one.
Agreed. By the way, you're terrible at lying.
Shut up. I mean, you already knew who I was, so
I know.
I kind of couldn't hide it. I literally tried to kill you. Couldn't really hide
Dude, that
it.
took forever.
It wouldn't let me.
I know. And the bad part is
It wasn't even
Kari's
my fault. I was trying to kill you, and it wouldn't let me.
And the bad part is Kari's got a clip of it from her point of view, me running away from you and Ice.
Don't kill
Ice
the old
didn't
man.
push me in the fire. I fucking walked into it. That was the only thing that killed me.
Well, no, I was trying to strangle you, and it just wouldn't strangle you. It just like, I'm alive.
Sorry, bud.
And then me and Kari tried to kill
Get
Red
better.
later. Me and Kari both tried to kill Red, and it wouldn't kill Red either.
Yeah.
We strangled her like 5 times before she actually died.
In game.
In game.
This is all game speak.
This is in game.
This is all game speak.
Red is still with us. This week's not compared to my love life. I know it. I have to use a fucking a rope. It's really weird.
But no, that's like the only social game I can really think of. But you just mean social games like the concept of like the games of Among Us and stuff, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you've got First Class, you've got Among Us, Played Up, things like that. Because there's a lot of people that I see it on Twitter all the time. A lot of people are like, you know, I'm looking for a good game to play with strangers or friends, and things like that.
Old days of Town of Salem was good. Now Town of Salem's it's gone off the wall. But the old days of Town of Salem was good.
I don't want to talk about Town of Salem because I spent $5 and went in and like, okay, I don't like this game anymore.
You know, I never spent money on it because
sounds like you when everyone convinced you to buy Tarkov and you were like, all right, 3 raids later, that's it.
I
game over.
I don't know why I can't really get into Tarkov like I can COD or Division.
That's and I mean that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people have been trying to get Kari to play Tarkov for some reason as well.
So here's the way I look at it with Tarkov and Kari. I would 100% stand behind Kari and Tarkov. And I mean that because if I stood in front of her, she'd fucking shoot me in the back of the head.
Same.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
Kari can lead the pack.
Yeah, 100%. She's the door kicker because there's no fucking way I'm standing in front of that gun.
You know, no, Akuma can stay in front of the gun. Does she want to shoot Akuma? Right.
Yes, Kari. There is team killing in the game.
Yeah. You're not gonna. That's rude. But there is no name.
How much is Tarkov again? No, she's ready for it now.
No, you're not gonna shoot me.
I'll give you my login.
You are not gonna shoot me with my actual shit on. No.
Oh, 100% she would.
I'll give you my login.
I'm not playing Tarkov anymore.
I just want it back if I ever decide to hate myself again.
So basically what you're being told, Kari, is you will have that account forever.
Yeah.
Because right now Tarkov is not in a good place. This update has really hurt the game. But it's whatever. We're not here to talk about Tarkov.
No, not really.
That was
although
my episode. I think we spent like 35 minutes on my episode fucking talking about nothing but Tarkov.
Although I do find it interesting that Rex has quoted time and time again that is a game that he uses to relax.
It is.
I mean,
Akuma does the same thing.
I play Valheim when I want to relax. If I'm contemplating suicide, I turn on Tarkov. Because I'm obviously already in bad mental shape, and why not just completely throw it?
And if there's loud noises going on outside, I turn on COD, music, and a stream or a TV show.
But no.
See, and that's what I've never understood, and I always get a kick out of it. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You know, it's the veteran community. We're so fucked up in the head. We can't sit there and go through fireworks. So what do? We go onto a gaming PC or a console. We turn on a war game, crank the volume up as loud as humanly possible, and we're okay.
Although I did surprise myself this last year. I went to a fireworks show and didn't freak out.
Oh, that's good. I mean, I didn't do anything like that, but I didn't do my normal thing for New Year's, you know, because I've got these assholes that live behind me that, you know, they've got more money than God apparently, and they can have professional fireworks set up in their backyard. Normally, yeah, I would come in here and I would throw the headset on, get in a group of friends, play fucking Tarkov or some type of war game at full volume. I sat here and watched movies, even though I could see, hear, and feel the fucking fireworks going off over my house. I tried something new. I'm not saying it's going to happen again because it really, really sucked.
And then, yeah,
I really don't say that mine's going to happen again, but we'll see.
There's 3 games that I use to relax: Tarkov, Scum, and horror games.
Horror.
Shut up.
Just say scary game, get it over with.
Say scary game before someone goes, oh, so we know what section of Steam he's watching.
No. Those are the 3 games.
Yes, horror games. They keep showing up on my recommended list, and it says next to it, you know, reason why you played Valheim. The fuck's that got to do with it? Yeah, exactly. Because it's a story-based game. They think that they're connected. I don't get it.
True.
Playing Sex with Hitler. Oh my God. I saw that fucking game and was like, what the fuck?
Oh.
No, I didn't know that game existed, but fuck off. I don't care.
But fuck off. He's writing it down. Don't worry.
No, I'm not.
So what are some ways that you think that you could improve over the year?
I mean, everything can be improved. That's the thing.
Give us a couple examples.
Yeah, give us 5 examples.
5 examples.
Yeah, I'm not going to make it easy with 3. Come on.
I guess more prep and research, maybe. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Getting better with better grammar. I guess that's another one. I don't fucking know. Using social media more.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Using more social media and actually advertise the podcast more.
I think that's a really, really good one.
Aim for bigger guests to try to get more reach. So again, they're not.
That's fair.
They're not easy targets, but we've had the CEO stack up, and we have a few other ones in the works that are just big process.
Okay.
I mean, Stacka took forever to get on. Like it's a long process to get these big guests on.
Oh yeah, totally agree.
And I loved being there for the stack up episode.
That was a good time.
And then 5, actually doing the podcast on time at 6 p.m.
I'm okay with that. Like when I'm co-hosting or whatever, I start setting all this up. Now I don't have the responsibilities that you do of actually putting the video out there and this, that, and the other, but I come in here at either 4:30, 5 o'clock. Lighting is set up, audio is set up, everything is set up, so I'm ready by 5:30, and I can go up and go fuck off or, have to go to the liquor store or something like that and be back in time and ready.
Kari, I don't check my DMs during streams.
That's me.
You can ask Hawkeye. He can never get a hold of me if I'm streaming. Because he's tried. At least he jumps into my VC.
And then if he's not streaming the podcast, if I really need to get a hold of him, I jump into VC and go, listen here, bitch.
That reminds me. Since we have Kari in chat, I'm gonna give you a choice. If you're paying attention. I'm waiting to see if she'll respond before I do this.
I mean, considering she just typed something.
She typed lol. That doesn't mean shit.
I mean, I know.
She could be talking to a whole different other.
There we go, Peen. So I know you're paying attention. So I did get my Twitch payout, and I know that we had talked about you possibly getting a capture card. So I'm gonna give you your choice. I have an external capture card, or I have my Avid Media internal capture card. Which one do you want?
Answer quickly, otherwise Pool's going to get an offer for that internal.
Yeah, it's the HD 60 series, I think. Or HD2, I think is what that one is. The HD 60 series Elgato. Would an external work with my PC? Internal, yes.
Good.
Internal, it plugs directly into your PCIe.
Internal, yeah. Doesn't the internal get built into your PC?
Yeah, you go up to a PCIe slot and plug it in, screw it onto the back, and call it good.
And an external, you just plug in with USB.
Yeah, it's got its own special USB cable that it uses, like that. Reason why it's blue. You plug that in, and then you just run a couple of extra cables, and you're good.
Now, you want my opinion? Cool.
Yeah, I'm listening.
I think the external would work, but what Kari
says makes sense. 100%
yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, all right, no worries. I will this week be yanking it out of my system and boxing it up. So, if anybody on the podcast needs an external capture card, I have one.
I already have one. I'm also looking for an internal one as well because I plan on updating my camera eventually.
You're gonna get okay. It get harder.
Wouldn't mind an external. I just won't be able to use it until I move out.
No, that's fine.
That's my thing.
I can ship it to you. You can just fucking sit there and hold on to it.
I wouldn't mind an external because I own Xbox and PS4, and there's a lot of exclusives that I would eventually like to play. But
okay, tell you what, we'll handle that because I may be able to pay Pool for the shipping. For that
don't worry about the shipping. I'll send you out the external. Kari, you're getting the internal.
All right,
easy enough. I just wanted to get that squared off before I forgot, and this, that, and the other.
So Rex,
what's up?
You started streaming as a variety streamer, right?
Yeah, still.
And then you had a lot of personal stuff come up to where you had to put off your gaming streams and focus more on the podcast.
And then
do you plan on coming back to gaming streams?
I did
a little bit more consistently.
I already was starting to do that before my GoXR went out. So
all right,
that will be continuing when I get a new GoXR. Because it's kind of yeah.
Pardon me. What's going to be your first game back?
Well, we're on the last mission of Evo Fen, so finishing Evo Fen. We're on the last mission of Evo Fen, so be finishing off that. That's the idea. Probably more COD. And I want to stream a lot more of variety, more games, because before I was doing Evo 1, I was doing COD, a little bit of Tarkov, and then we did some Scum of Valheim. I want to branch out into more categories and stuff. And there's a few games I want to go back into. I want to start, for them, one of the games I want to start eventually is going to be Spec Ops: The Line. It's just that one, I'm going to need disclaimers out of the fucking ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one game that I actually
Just gonna
really
put
would like that I would eventually. Yeah.
All right. So, Bull, you got any other?
I think I got one more for you. And I'm going to make it simple because you love to say it during the stream. You got any questions for us?
Oh, okay. I mean, I had a question.
You got the final 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm giving it to you, baby.
All right, so you two, what were you guys' first reaction when I talked about the podcast?
I was intrigued. I was intrigued by the idea because it's never really been done before. And I wanted to see where it went.
I was a little bit apprehensive about it at first, because I've seen, and it wasn't necessarily a podcast, but I've seen where an outsider is trying to portray the military in a certain light, and they fuck it up. So I would, like I said, I was apprehensive at first. I think I became a little more comfortable with it, after my episode, sitting down and talking with you guys. I was like, all right, so it's legit. It's not, just a bunch of bullshit questions of, let's see if we can poke and prod the veteran until he gets pissed off type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I didn't want that. That's why I asked a bunch of vets and what's okay, what's not okay. Where do we draw the line here between activating PTSD and not activating PTSD and stuff like that?
Well, not only that, but there's certain things, especially for like active duty, that they may have gone on a mission or something of that nature that they can't talk about.
Mm-hmm.
There's veterans that they're retired like myself or something like that, that there's still missions that we're never allowed to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Or activities or units that we were involved with and stationed with and this, that, and the other that we can't bring up. So yeah, I mean, I was, and Hawk will tell you, because Hawk was talking to me leading up to that episode, and I told him, there are certain things I will not talk about.
And I flat out responded to them like, you don't have to talk about them.
Yep.
We're literally just trying to get to know you.
Yeah.
It's the one thing I've told every guest, which you guys can testify to this. I've told majority of the guests that say what you want to say. We're not going to force anything out of you. And two, don't say anything that's going to get your ass in a jail cell.
Yeah. The last place you want to be is the fucking brig by the end of a fucking podcast.
Yeah.
All right. So what other questions you got for us?
Where do you guys want to see the podcast go in the next coming years?
Bull, I'll let you take this one if you have an idea already.
Yeah, of course. I think we have a good foundation as to bringing more awareness to veterans, especially whether they be active duty or whatnot. Getting their stories out, but at the same time, allowing people to see that veterans are human beings. I would like to see it become a bigger thing, and I'm not talking like this massive corporation or this, that, and the other, but to be able to, let's say, land someone like, I don't know, how would you feel about an hour and a half conversation with Marcus Luttrell? Or Rob O'Neill or someone like that, someone outside of the gaming community, but someone that's got like a story that would blow your mind. I mean, if you were able to sit down and for the first time ever hear the real story of the lone survivor, or the guy that was on the raid during bin Laden, and this, that, and the other, those are stories that you're not going to find from a Twitch streamer or something like that. So I think I think we could get there. I think it's going to take a lot of work, and I think it's going to take a lot of work from all of us. You know, not only the hosts, the co-hosts. I mean, everyone has to come together and really just hit the ground as hard as possible and really push it. But I think we can do it.
Because I've always said this first year, it was testing the waters. It was a lot of testing the waters, and damn, we did pretty good for testing the waters. We have 2 sponsorships. We've had a CEO on the podcast. We've done over 30 veteran stories in active duty. Over 30 veterans in active duty stories are out there. And we have average 500 viewers on the offlines.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. So now for my part of the answer here. I agree.
What a bitch.
I agree with Pool. I want to see this podcast grow. And something that Kari said in here is like, I do want to see the podcast become well known. Not necessarily because of, me being on it. It's not a selfish reason. I want the podcast to succeed.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, it's a small part of the reason why I went back to school. So I can learn how to effectively use this mic to broadcast a story out there.
Mm-hmm.
A quality story, no less.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, Paul, go fuck yourself.
See, see now I'm offended because I don't know if you're talking to the guy in chat or me. So I mean that's really fucked up.
It is.
Paul, I'm not talking to you.
Yeah, no, Kari, you stop dropping your dick on your fucking keyboard.
End of the day, I love being a part of the beginning of the podcast, and I'm going to enjoy being a part of it for time to come.
But I say you better not say the end of it because this fucker's not ending anytime soon.
It'll end when I get put in a hospital.
I mean, it's
at least on my end.
Shut up! I have to go to the hospital too many fucking times. Let's not go with that fucking remark.
Fair. Yeah, that's.
I mean,
fair.
there's 3 more surgeries scheduled. Let's not bring up hospitals anytime soon.
Yeah.
All right, we got 3 minutes left. You got time for about one more question.
Yeah, if I have more, we can go above time. It's okay. I don't care.
You don't care? Well, I haven't fucking eaten dinner yet. God damn it!
I haven't either. What are you?
I ate half my dinner.
Shut up and let me ask my question. What are your guys' top 5 guests?
I'll take the first one on this. Number 5's got to be Brent.
I'll go with that.
4, Dev. Just because it brought that little bit of variety there.
I'll go with that one too. So we're 2 for 2 already.
3, K.
See, it's that whole Air Force thing.
And I hate him for being in the Air Force, but he kind of did bring good variety, good spice there.
It's okay. I'll put him in my top 50. And we haven't hit 50 yet.
2, Murdog, actually. Murdog was a very fun episode.
This is a good episode.
1 has to go to Pool.
Oh God! Look, dude, the $20 I said I was going to send you. Look, I mean,
I have my reasons.
Don't do it on air.
Well, you're somebody that I can actually identify with a lot more.
You identify as an old broken motherfucker? God damn, dude.
Or pulling.
So I would agree with his 5 and 4. 3 ex-military, That was a lot of fun getting to know him and seeing what he's doing. Number 2, I would say Strawberry. I think that was an exceptional episode because she started out nervous as shit, and to the point where she turned off her camera, this, that, and the other. But she really opened up by the end of the episode, and I think that was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
My number 1, I'm gonna have to say, was Whiskey, and I'm gonna have to really push for the second episode. Her with her mom was a shit ton of fun, and that's not something that we're gonna have happen that often. To be able to sit there and talk with a veteran along with their parent and kind of get an idea of some of the things that the parent has to go through and some of the things that the service member missing the parent has to go through. I don't think that's going to be something that's going to happen that often.
So I actually have a secondary list that is placed above that top 5.
Okay.
Of episodes that
That's
I
not what
do
was
not.
asked, you motherfucker.
It's additional information. Shut the fuck up. Whiskey, second episode. I agree with Pool. It's not going to be replicated all that often.
No, it's a phenomenal episode.
Strawberry, for the same reasons. She was completely shy throughout the first, I'll say, 45 minutes.
Yeah, I would say probably about. I wouldn't say 45. I'd say definitely 30 minutes, and then it was like the floodgates opened, and here was Strawberry. That was fun.
Just from the editing standpoint, RJ's first episode was interesting to edit.
Very much so.
And then Twix, either episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting to see a officer, such a laid back attitude.
Yeah.
True. And then
I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with him during that episode because it's not every day you're going to get an officer that's willing to come on and face a bunch of fucking enlisted assholes.
All right. I mean,
and any officer that is asked to come on this show and they're like, well, who's the co-host? Well, this guy was a Navy CB, this guy was Army, this guy was Air Force. I'm not prior military, but I support the vets, and the first thing that in his mind is, are any of them officers? And if he asks that question and you say, or he or she asks that question and you say no, the first thing in the back of their mind is, I'm gonna get fucking absolutely roasted.
And then I have a final question for you too. What are things you guys feel like I need to improve on as a host on the podcast?
I'll go first, Hawk.
Okay.
I'll give you 3. Number 1 is definitely advertising the podcast.
Yep.
On Discord, on Twitter. You're a member of my Discord. You're a member of Hawkeye's Discord. This, that, and the other. There's absolutely nothing stopping you from going into my Go Live fucking chat room and put something out there.
Okay.
You're more than welcome to do it. I do it every time the episode's coming on, but if I forget, you're 100% fucking welcome to do it. Number 2, I would say something that hasn't happened that often, and tonight was actually a prime example of it. And those of you that weren't privy to, before it went live, being prepared. You were 100% prepared tonight, which was phenomenal. I was actually thumbs up, impressed, when you were just like, hey, you'll not believe this, but I'm ready to fucking go.
I looked outside to see if pigs were flying.
Yeah. I looked up and I was like, the room's red. Did hell freeze over? Because I saw the blue. I wasn't sure what was going on. So that's another one. The last one I would say, don't be afraid to to interject yourself into the conversation. If, let's say, you know, me and Hawk are talking and, you know, there's something that you want to say, but, you know, you're kind of holding back, just fucking do it. Cause I've seen it. And some of our fans have noticed that you kind of get this look on your face sometimes where you want to say something, but you hold back to let, you know, one of the co-hosts say something or the guest to say something. Just fucking, you're the host. Let's make it simple. You're the host. You got something to say? Say it.
All right.
All right. So mine is going to come a little bit more from the technical side on some of this. Your vocal quality could use some improvement.
Well, right now, yeah, because I don't have this.
Hang on. We're talking aside from hardware. Hardware be damned. You know, there's few words here and there. If you try to string up a sentence, right? There's a few words that slur.
Well, no shit. I was in special ed and they didn't teach you shit.
I'll open your mouth.
I do open my mouth.
One you've done really well on, but you can continue to improve since you've got the new chair, is your posture. Three, breathing. I'll explain a little bit more about this because it's going to come across really weird if I really explain it here.
I say probably do that one offline.
But just know that there are certain ways that people that broadcast, podcast, whatever, breathe.
That's not happening, but you know, sure.
And as a fourth, I second Pool's points.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need to, I will give you permission to post in my announcements section.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that most people actually pay attention to my Discord, but
all right. Do you guys have any final words then?
Hawkeye, you got to go first. I got to go last because I promised Roshi I would do something on the podcast. So,
oh God, I know what that's gonna be.
Look. Typical safety brief shit. Don't get caught doing something stupid. If you do, don't call me because I don't have bail money.
But he will give you a condom if needed.
Fair enough.
Rex, you got anything out there?
Well, all I can say is that this has been one amazing year of Asylum Arms, and the second one, I hope the second one we grow even bigger and we achieve more with Asylum Arms. So I got.
I like it. Well, I would say to anybody watching and listening, thank you guys for an amazing year. And I think that we've got a lot to prove and bring forth in the years to come. And for Roshi, and I'm sorry, everybody listening and chat and everything else like that, but I promise. So I got a big fat.
It didn't come up on the mic.
That's great. That's even better, actually.
It didn't even come up on your mic. It just looks like you deep throated your mic.
No, didn't. But it apparently
he did it.
I did it, and I think they heard it.
I didn't hear on Discord.
Here's to another great year.
Yeah.
I can't do that. It's empty, you fucker.
But
I don't have anything.
This
Fine, water. Here's to a great year. Whatever. I'm gonna go get drunk.
This has been episode 30 of Asylum Arms.
Episode 30?
8.
Try that again.
8. I
Thank
said
you.
8. I said
We
A.
heard 30.
It's this fucking thing. I fucking hate it here. Anyways.
You didn't even say that. You know what? I'm just gonna
Shut the fuck up.
I've got one of those buttons.
Right out. Who am I writing down into? I don't know who I'm writing down into. Who's live?
Who's live?
I'm
I'm live.
stalking. Shut up. You're not live streaming. Live.
You didn't say streaming. You just said live. I'm live. I have a monitor over there that says I'm still fucking live.
Ah, I see. Makes sense. Sense.
Brent's live.
Dev is.
Sergeant Jackson, who just got partner.
I'm not even followed to him. Oh no, I mean Sergeant Jackson, or I'm followed to Sergeant Jackson. Fuck it was raid to Brent. We haven't done him in a while.
All right. Y'all have fun. Kidding.
Don't get caught.
And if you do get caught, don't call me. You son of a bitch.
Fair enough.